Patmos surely but slowly reveals her secrets. So up there is the School of Theology, which is being renovated. It's there since 1716, where at one time, if you want to study Orthodox theology, you would come here. And of course, it has to do with the Monastery of John and also the cave. And I have a theory about that, and my belief is that the Greek Romans had a gymnasium outside of the town, the old city, which is over there. And I think it was here. And part of the reason why I think it was here was, and I'll tell you why, is because they created these plateaus here. These are handmade. And it's a question of when. And that's one thing. And you can see this ancient sacred way here. These stones have been laid at least 2,000 years ago, if not much longer. They're hand carved, you can see that. And this is not the main way. This is more of a secondary path that comes up to the cave and then leads up and meets with the primary sacred way, which goes directly to today the Monastery of John, but back then to the Artemis Temple. And so the reason why I think the gymnasium would be here is because, and you can see how old this is here, okay? It's ancient. Is because there are a series of caves here. There's the cave which they celebrate as the place where John received from the Christ energy the book of Revelations. And here you have these ancient staircases which have been carved out of the bedrock here. Extraordinary, actually. But also behind this door, I have no idea what's behind this door. But I suspect, and I just discovered this, that there's probably a cave or an altar there from the time of polytheism. Why do I say that now? Because I noticed that there's a channel here, which is now lined with cement, which leads down and away. Now, the ancient Greeks would offer animals to their gods. And a classical offering to the goddess Cybele, was an oxen or a bull. And this channel is very, very large, much larger than the ones inside the cave. And it could be that in there was an altar for Cybele, and when they slaughtered a bull or an oxen, the blood would then flow away from the altar and away from the sanctuary. And I'm going to show you this again. I showed it in the past. Again, these are ancient stairways. They're carved into the bedrock. These are not stones. Is that now we're going down towards the cave entrance. It's closed, so I'm allowed to poke around a little bit and go without anybody controlling me. And if you go down here, like I'm doing now, and I'm going to brace myself to go around this corner here. Don't worry about me. I do this all the time. You can see here as well that there are these ancient caves, hand carved, okay? And they're filled now with stone and rubble. And this looks like a niche, which is classic of Cybele worship. And then down around here as well, there's a secondary cave with a staircase up, with a staircase that goes up, where they probably had an image of Cybele. Why do I say Cybele? Because the Greeks and then the Romans afterwards feared Cybele very much. She was a very powerful goddess from Anatolia, one of the ancient goddesses. And even the Romans respected her so much that they actually took a statue of her, put it on a boat, and took it to Rome to have Cybele protect Rome. So this is what I mean here. This is more the secret side of Patmos, and it's in plain sight. And down below here is the entrance to the, I can go walk down. This is, I'm not allowed to be here, but it's midday. And I've never been here. Fascinating. And so they would build a gymnasium there, but they would ask Sibylla to protect the students and the athletes. I'm almost sure of this, actually. And another cave for the worship of Sibylla is behind this door, where you go in to the cave of the Apocalypse today. But if you go in there and look very carefully on the floor and on the walls, they also carved out channels for the blood to flow away, where they would offer smaller animals. There are many, many niches also in the bedrock there, along with a number of channels carved out. And the sacred way that I just showed to you, actually, hardly anybody knows it here, unless you spend time here like I do. It continues down here. So this is, like I'm saying, this is a sacred way that goes up to, that visits Sibylla's sanctuaries, and I use that in the plural, and continues up to the Artemis Temple. And typically a true devotee of Sibylla would be a devotee of Artemis. And so they would visit then Sibylla first. That's why there's a secondary street here. The larger street's over there, where you would then go directly to Artemis. And they would pay homage to Sibylla, and then they would continue up to the Artemis Temple. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you, because I've been wondering where the gymnasium might be located. And if you know something about Greco-Roman cities, the gymnasiums are always on the outside of the city. They're not in the city. And the old city's up behind there, the Acropolis. And that's Scala down there, and I believe that's where they had the hippodrome, because Scala is actually quite flat. And to build a horse racing track, you would need a flat area. There was no city, by the way, there. The city, Scala, was only built in 1912, but that would be the place where the ships would come in. And that's probably where they also had the hippodrome, without a doubt. And some people say there was an Apollo temple down there too, but other people say the Apollo temple was up in the Acropolis. Okay, that's just a short history of Patmos. Fascinating island. Very important to Christianity. One of the holiest islands in Greece today. And take care, everybody.